Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. It's Amy Gretchen, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a walkthrough of my completed 2020 December daily album. That feels so amazing to say. So you can see on my desk, I'm actually using the Linen 6x8 album. This came out last year. You'll probably notice that this was the album that I was using as I was working through all of the days, but this was the intended album. This is the one that I wanted to use because I felt like this would go a lot better on my shelf and it would fit a lot better with the other albums that I have. So I will definitely use this Mary album for sure another year, but this is what I'm going to be using for 2020. So let's just dive in. I know that you've seen some of the first few pages in an earlier flip through, but let's just dive in so you can see it in its entirety. So I am going to walk you through a little bit just because I know that I don't have videos for the first few pages. So this first page, this is the title page. This is actually something I did for Allie Edwards' product play class last year. So if you're interested, this is one of the classes that I did. And then this paper right here is actually something I created with a digital file. I believe it was a Paisley Press digital file. And if you can see in the light, this is gold foil. So I actually did this using the foil quill. Of course, you could do this using the mink as well if that's an option for you, but I always have better luck using the foil quill. And then on the back side, I have this calendar. You can see that it's not filled out. This is something that I probably should just go ahead and finish because I do have a journal. And so I would be able to kind of pull out the big events or the things that I was grateful for that day. I believe that that is what I was highlighting, is the things that were bringing me joy. And then we are starting into day one, and it starts off with this quote: "Now is the best time for choosing to find magic and joy," which I believe is sort of the theme for this album, something that I was really trying to focus on during the season. And this is actually cut out in vinyl on top of vellum. And then I have one of the pockets and the big number 1 and just my journaling here in the pocket. On the back side, I'm telling the story about getting our Christmas tree, which was very festive this year. I actually created this page protector to kind of match the stars underneath. So you can see that they kind of match on top. I also did that with the foil quill. And then for number 3, it's the story of our Christmas tree and how much I love having the Christmas tree up. And you can see that I just added the number by adding it to this 3x4 card. On the back side of that, I've got the journaling for day 4, which is on a 3x8 pocket. This is all about the Advent. We did it a little bit different this year with my daughter being the only one home. And then for day 5, it is all about a hike that we took. So I definitely have stories that involve the holidays, like the tree, like the Advent. Then I also include other things like a hike, things that don't seem really holiday, but that are things that are going on during the month. I like to include both. Then for day 6, I've just got a large photo with some journaling about a devotional that we watch every year that my church does in December. Kind of helps you to get ready for the holiday season and just really remember why we celebrate it. Then on day 7, my daughter had her formal pictures for her wedding. So it's very traditional in Utah to kind of have the first look. I don't know if that's all over the place or if it's just local to us, but they had their first look photo shoot, which involved also her bridals as well. I have some letter stickers just right on to the transparency just over the photo. And on the back side, I have another photo and then some journaling there. And this love and joy came from Paisley Press. I think it might have been last year or in 2019. For day 8, I just have a list. These are all of the things that I needed to do. Some of these are Christmas related and some of them are not. So it's just kind of all the things that I needed to do. I feel like I should have gone through and checked some of the things off the list. Actually, it'd be fun to see if I got to all of those things. But I do feel like aesthetically, it would be really nice to have some checked off. On the back side, I've got day 9, so that is encompassing of this this postcard that I got while we were in Portland. We were in Portland, and of course we had to go to Powell's Books, so I just had a photo with some journaling, and then that big number 9. For day 10, you can see that I just have it written down here as December 10th. My husband had gotten into an accident where he broke some ribs, and so that was just a story about that. For day 11, I wanted to tell the story that was just a very everyday, you can see currently story. Now, I believe all of these stamps, I'm not 100% sure about this one, but I know these ones came from Everyday Explorer. I love her stamps, she does a really great job. And the one thing that I really loved specifically about this photo, which I think would be fun to do with a variety of photos, is that each of the little journaling had something to do with the piece of the photo. Like, I'm highlighting my glasses here and noting that like I need glasses when I'm on the computer. It's very helpful to me. Also, I have this pointing to my computer in that I switched from a PC to a Mac. And then of course I wrote a little bit about Lola, and I even wrote a little bit about that stool right there. So I think this would be a fun idea to take a photo, maybe like a flat lay. You could do this with ornaments, anything that you had, and just kind of highlight each piece with a speech bubble. And this would be great for this year because I believe there's a lot of speech bubbles in the 2021 supplies. All right, so for this next photo, it is just a story about my puppy and I taking a walk. So again, just a story about a regular December day, and that's kind of indicated on this star that says quiet December day. So that was number 12. And I believe starting with number 12 is when I start having process videos that you guys can go check out. So if you are interested, you can see how I put this one together. I really love this idea of adding words that are kind of popped off the page opposed to printing them digitally. I really love cutting them out in the silhouette and stacking them up. I did that also for day 5, and I really loved the look of that. All right, so for day 13, it was all about around here. I always think it's fun to put these pages together and kind of play with some of the ephemera and some of the pieces in your stash. And that just goes for both sides. So I've just got photos and then journaling. For day 14, it's just a simple wrapping. I don't even think I have journaling for this day because I didn't feel like I had anything more to say other than on day 14, I was wrapping. For day 15, I am telling a story about getting Christmas cards. I really love Christmas cards every year, and I was especially thankful for cards this past year because we had moved and I was kind of afraid that we weren't going to get very many cards. So it was really nice to get the cards, and I thought it would be fun to highlight that by cutting out the stamps. This is definitely something I want to do again. I loved the look of this. And this was an envelope I got from Jenny on Ali Edwards' design team. She's from Amsterdam, and so I just thought this was so fun to have something a little bit different. And never fear about this address. I've had people ask me about, like, don't show your address on the internet. I do not live here anymore, so I'm not worried about you seeing that address. I don't even live in that state anymore. So, all right. So for day 16, I created this fold out tag, I guess. And on the outside, of course, we've got the numbers, and then I've got, you can see that I've foiled with the foil press some snowflakes here. And this again is something that you will be able to watch if you watch my process. And I will have a video down below that will have a link to all of my process videos for not only 2020, but also for the other years. I have playlists so you can look at all of my December daily if you are interested. So for day 16, I actually do not have a photo. So some days I don't have photos, like day 15, I didn't have a photo either. It's just the stamps and the story. And it's the same thing for day 16. Day 16 was a story that I had while I was driving down the street when I thought there was real snowflakes in the air and it ended up being pretend snowflakes. So I just told a story about that because even though it was fake, it still brought me a lot of joy. For day 17, it is all photo. And I do have a little bit of story here. You can see that I use the foil quill to put the story onto the photo. And then I use the foil quill to add I'll be and then the home for Christmas on top of the transparency. I just really wanted to give this a 3D feel, and so I liked having them on, one on the transparency and then one on the photo. So this is all about traveling home. For day 18, it's my daughter and her friends at a school dance. I was able to take photos. Really love the opportunity to do that for my kids. So I had a lot of fun putting this together. Again, I used the foil quill on this Oh What Fun to kind of highlight it in gold. Hopefully you guys can see these gold details in the video. And then for day 19, this is also something I created for the product play class. So if you're interested in this, you can check this out in the classroom and I will show you how to create this. But it's just a bunch of different circles with some journaling on the inside. And these were 5 things that were bringing me joy during the holiday season. And I used the transparent circles for this one that came in last year's kit. For day 20, it's all about being home for the holidays and just all being together for the holidays. And this is actually the very first time in my life that I've ever traveled for the holidays or kind of gone home for the holidays. So it was kind of interesting, and that's a little bit about what that journaling is about. So for day 21, this story is about kind of my girls being together for the last time before my oldest daughter got married. This was the day before she got married, and they were all gathered together and they were laughing. They were just having a great time. And so the story is just about them, their relationship, and hoping, it will continue to move on as things change in their life, as they go off to school and kids get married and stuff like that. So just kind of reflecting on the day before she got married. All right, so for day 22, this was the day that my daughter actually got married. It was a beautiful day, very cold, but very beautiful. And I just wrote a little bit about it, kind of my last thoughts as I was leaving the venue by myself with my husband. My daughter had already left, so I just kind of wrote down a few thoughts on my way home. I do have journaling, and I have a lot more that I have said about this event, and so I didn't feel like I needed to do an entire write-up of everything that happened that day, but I just really loved getting some of my thoughts down. So again, I've got my journaling written out. This was also using the foil quill. I really love the idea of using foil here, especially because it was for a wedding. And then I just have the photo. What I really love about this is you've got the look of, it looks like the foil is right on top of the photo, but then I can take the transparency off and then I'm able just to see the photo in its entirety without having, the writing on top of it. So I really do love the option of having both. So then moving on to day 23. So this story was all about us looking for a place to live. So we didn't know if we were or were not going to be moving to Salt Lake. And so we just thought, just in case, we will look for a couple things to rent. And so this is actually the home that we are renting, and we did go and look at it. I think we actually went on December 24th, but I put it on December 23rd. And it was one of those things that I really just wanted to make sure I highlighted that we did while we were in Salt Lake, just because it seems pretty telling since we actually did end up moving back. I just wanted to make sure that that got in to this album. All right, so for day 24, this is a flip up, and I intentionally did that because of this funny photo of me falling asleep. So for day 24, like I said in my process video, there's like a million photos you can choose, but I just wanted to highlight the one which was about just how tired I was with everything that goes into, you know, getting ready for Christmas and then having a wedding at the same time, just all the things that you do and just how exhausted I was. So I told the story about that and how I ended up falling asleep at our family party at the dinner table, which is like the most uncomfortable place ever, but you could tell I was super tired. So there is something that I did change. So this is the embellishment that I chose instead of the heart, which I believe is in the photographs. I really liked this because I wanted something that was green and not red. So I just went ahead and chose that. Plus I love the rectangle there. So for this one, I realized in my process video, I actually did not talk about this transparency. So this transparency, let me pull it out. I made this last year. This is on top of a transparency that I purchased from Allie. So this tree transparency came in, I believe it was like a transparency kit. And so there were several transparencies in it. And then on top of it, I'm trying to find a piece of paper. Maybe I could just use this. So on top of it, you can see that I have some gold foil. So this is actually vinyl. This is not with the foil quill. I did this with vinyl. This was, I think, a card or a stamp. I can't remember. It was definitely a digital file. And then these stars were also part of a digital file. And I can't remember if they all came together. In fact, this might have been one card. And then I just like copied and pasted some of the stars and added more just so that there were more of them. But I just put this together in Photoshop and then sent it over to the silhouette to have it cut out. And it cut out really beautifully. So I added that on top. So I was trying to use that all season. So I'm glad that I finally got that in. And then for day 25, which is Christmas Day, of course, I've got just my journaling, just a small bit of journaling about what I remember from that day, because I sort of feel like looking back, it's hard to remember all of the details. So just the things that I remember. And then a family photo. I always like to try and take a family photo in our pajamas or, you know, whenever we can take a photo that day. And then there's just some photos from the day. Like I said in my process video, I only took a couple of photos and then my dad took the rest. So most of these are from my dad. But anyway, you can see there's a couple changes from the video. I ended up moving this card up above and then adding this card with just some word phrase stickers. And then this star is a paper clip. So anyway, you guys, that is it for my 2020 December Daily album. I really hope that you're able to, you know, snag some inspiration from some of the days. Just a reminder to you that you can add everyday stories, you can add December stories. It's just totally up to you and how you want your December daily to look and the things that you want to remember. I guess I would just encourage you to tell the stories that you always want to look back on and remember. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being here. If you are new to my channel and would like to see more December daily videos, definitely subscribe, because I will have more in the month of December and then also coming up in the next few weeks. So thanks so much, you guys, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.